Welcome to Can't Sleep, Clowns Believe Me. This is Kayla.
And this is Jenny.
All of our stories today are covered in the 1950 to 1965 era. From our 5 events, I'll be covering the Red Scare, the Fair Deal, and the Korean War.
And I'll be covering the baby boom and the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
I'll be starting with the Red Scare, and the Red Scare began in 1947 and ended in 1957. It corresponded with the increased fears of espionage by communists and increased tension from Soviet oppression in Eastern Europe, the Berlin blockade, Chinese Civil War, and the Korean War. From these events, it caused several aggressive investigations like red baiting, blacklisting, jailing, and deportation from people suspected of being a communist. Some of the causes that triggered these events are the conviction and execution of Ethel and Julius Rosenberg for espionage, that occurred in Eastern Europe, and the accusation of an atomic bomb by the Soviet Union. From these events, it influenced the opinions of many Americans and connected the fear of a nuclear attack by the Soviet Union. As of 1947, Harry S. Truman signed the Executive Order 9835, which created the Federal Employees Loyalty Program. The program was designed to investigate federal employees and terminate them if there were doubts to loyalty. As to affecting American life, the Red Scare caused people to build numerous bomb shelters and regular duck and cover drills at school. Back to you, Jenny.
Thank you, Kayla. I will be talking about the baby boom. It was any period with a greatly increased birth rate. Baby boom period was in a range from the 1940s to the 2000s. In 1695, about 16 million babies were brought to life. People born in this period were called the baby boomers. Back to you, Kayla.
Alright, another major event during the 1950 time period was the Fair Deal. The Fair Deal was created by Harry S. Truman, a policy of social improvement which was outlined in his 1949 State of the Address to the Congress on January 5th, 1949. And Truman stated that every segment of our population and every individual has a right to expect from his or her government a fair deal. Unfortunately, he was unable to pass any major part through the Congress. Only one of his fair deals was enacted, and that was to expand employment benefits. Back to you, Jenny.
Steven, is that your bowling award?
I just got it.
Yeah, so did I. You got letters even that you didn't bowl?
I got 08.
Oh wait.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with them.
I'm just gonna sell mine on my bowling bag.
I'll probably sell mine on my racing jacket.
Okay, you guys can still go. You guys can't hear us, I don't think. Well, you can edit it out.
The assassination of John F. Kennedy. He was the 35th president of the U.S., and he was fatally wounded by gunshots while riding in the presidential motorcade. He was shot by Lee Harvey Oswald through the head and the neck. He was dead by the time he arrived at the hospital. Vice President Johnson became president right after Kennedy's death. Back to you, Kayla.
For my last major event, it is the Korean War. It started on June 25th, 1950, and ended on July 27th, 1953. It began with the invasion of capitalist South Korea by communist North Korea in 1950. The first attack was started on June 25th, 1950. The key places that was attacked was Kaesong, Choncheon,
Chris Miller to the high school office, please. Chris Miller.
and some other places I can't pronounce. After a few days, South Korea was outnumbered. However, on June 28th, Americans intervened, so it was a surprise to North Korea, which they were not prepared against American air attacks. The Chinese also entered the war too in October 1950. The leader, Mao Zedong, issued an order to assemble the Chinese People's Volunteer Army. This was created so that the Chinese entering the war would not seem to indicate a state-to-state war between the U.S. and China. Later, the People's Republic of China was created in honor of the Chinese army holding out against the Western Army in a major conflict, despite their heavy losses. Also, by entering the war, China earned the trust from the Soviet Union. From this, China obtained loans and technical assistances from the USSR and engaged in the first 5-year plan to develop heavy industries. After the Korean War ended, there was a total of 600,000 Korean soldiers who died in conflict. About 1 million South Koreans died, and 85% of that was civilians.
Wow, that's some really good information.
Shut up. Sorry. Well, so that doesn't count, right? Okay, back to you, Jenny.
For the culture items, we did 3. I did 2, and Kayla did the other one. For my culture items, I did the television and the radio. For the television, that was AKA the TV. It was a common system for broadcasting and receiving moving pictures and sounds over a distance. By the 1940s, the TV was a common household device found worldwide. What did you feel?
Okay, for my culture item, I did rock and roll, and it was very popular in the 1950s, and it became increasingly popular after Elvis Presley. Yeah.
For my other cultural item, I did the radio, and it was a wireless transmission of signals. The FM radio was invented by Edwin H. Armstrong. The radio is just like using Morse code between ships and land. The AM broadcast music and voice was a medium frequency. The FM is the same frequency but with a higher tone than AM.
Okay, and for the foreign people we covered, I covered Julius and Ethel Rosenberg.
And I covered Alger Hiss and Joseph McCarthy.
Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, they were American communists who received international attention when they were executed for passing nuclear weapon secrets to the Soviet Union. They were both born in New York City and were both in the Young Communist Movement. Oops. Hold on, let's redo this.
I didn't get Jenny in there.
Get what?
Get her showing the picture. I'm gonna have to like scoot
Okay.
over to do that.
Move over. Okay.
I'm not gonna be able to see that. You can't really see the picture, but okay.
Just like zoom in the picture and then like just like move the.
Yeah, I did. But I don't have Jenny in there. I have the picture. Okay.
Alright. 2 important people were Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, which they're shown right here. And they were American communists who received international attention when they were executed for passing nuclear weapon secrets to the Soviet Union. They were both born in New York City and were both in the Young Communist League. As to how they met, they later got married. Except that Julius, which is right here, he was the leader of the Young Communist League. So, later on May 23rd, 1950, Sergeant David Greenglass, which is Ethel's brother, confessed to having passed secret information onto the USSR. He also testified that his sister Ethel Rosenberg and her husband Julius had also passed secrets. So now they're in big trouble. On March 29th, 1951, the Rosenbergs were convicted, and on April 5th, they were sentenced to death. The couple were executed at sundown in an electric chair in Sing Sing, Westchester County, New York, on June 19, 1950. So, they were actually died in an electric chair, but I thought that'd be too graphic to show you guys, so here they are being, oopsie. Here they are being killed with string and rope. And they also had 2 sons named Robert and Albert,
What are my grades?
which they didn't end up like their parents at all. No, they are really good children, and they learned from their parents' mistakes that you never pass in secrets to the Russians, because you will get in trouble and executed. But these guys are the only guys that got executed for passing on secrets on to the Russians. And, what should I say?
I don't know. I can pause it till she gets done drawing the picture. Because then you guys can just add in.
Good idea.